Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are here to celebrate World Forestry Day on the World Water Day. Today, I am representing Ahmedabad Division of Western Railway, and today we'll be talking about Miyawaki Forest, development of Miyawaki Forest on unused railway lands. And I have got a very eminent speaker, Madam Anil Kapadia Vaishnav, who is a BArch from CEPT and Master in Urban Planning from CEPT again. And she's currently the visiting faculty of CEPT and Nirma Institute, Ahmedabad. And she's an expert urban planner, has over 20 years of professional experience, working mostly with corporates, public sectors, in fields of urban planning and landscaping. Railway had the good opportunity of, taking the advantage of her experience in landscaping, Miyawaki forest and all. So we did a pilot project with Living Roots, whereby we converted 800 square meters of wasteland, which was, almost on the verge of having a soft encroachment and all. And we were having construction debris on it. So when I approached them, she said, why don't we make it into a forest? And the place is right in the center of Ahmedabad city. So it has been created into a sort of lungs for the city. So the Miyawaki method of forest development is such that it is a very scientific system, whereby everything is done very systematically. So now I would ask Anil Madam, our speaker, who will give us an insight into what is Miyawaki Forest.
A very good morning to everybody and happy World Water Day. You can put in your questions right back to us. If there are anything that is left out, I'll be very happy to address your queries. So please note down the contact details at the end of the presentation. Also, I'll flash. So a very good morning to all of you, and a big thank you to Frederick sir, who is head environment with Ahmedabad Division Western Railways, for being so instrumental in organizing this pan-India railway-focused webinar on urban forestry, and also taking up this great initiative of developing the microforest on railway land right in Ahmedabad city, heart of Ahmedabad city. So today we are going to share that case study with you so that you can learn how quickly you can grow an urban forest by this Miyawaki method of accelerated growth. Let me start quickly. So basically, public land occurs at various levels in a city, as you all know. But unfortunately, not all lands find a meaning or a function to it. These lands are reserved lands, fallow lands, geographic voids along the water bodies, river, infrastructure voids like large tracts of land along the railway corridors. So these lands occur at all places, and these are public good, these are public lands. Specifically today, when we talk in the context of railway land, let me bring out that vast tracts of, precious land, as you can see in this picture, remain derelict. They are neglected, they are underused, and therefore they become polluted over a period of time. And they also pose a grave issue of encroachment over a period of time, as you can see this. And this eventually becomes a big social problem, not only for the people themselves, but also for the government officials, for all of us, for the people who breathe in and out of the city. So this problem needs to be dealt with. Why is this problem in first place? Let's understand this. This problem is because these public lands are left out of the urban system. They are no more part of the urban system. They are blank, black spots in everybody's life. But they are precious urban land. Land is a precious, pricey resource. It needs to be brought back. needs to be consumed well. Consumed in the sense it needs to find a meaning to itself so that it becomes more environmentally friendly. It becomes, more long enduring in nature. So how can we do this, in the most efficient way, in the most quickest way, such that it's beneficial to the urban society at large? And these lands are brought back in the urban system for the collective common good. We have tried this, in our own way. And it is a very, let me tell you, it is a very simple and an easy way to do. And it can be done in any context, anywhere across India, wherever, whichever city and whatever be the nature of your land, however degraded it might seem as of now, it's possible, let me tell you. Taken up first, as sir mentioned, we took up this first of its kind pilot initiative on the Western Railways Ahmedabad division land, which was otherwise neglected railway property. And we converted that into a harvesting and healing landscape of biodiverse, rich forest ecosystem that will be 100% sustainable within just a short span of 3 years. The good news is that no maintenance is the best management for these forests. Let me tell you that these forest ecosystems are going to be self-reliant and will become self-sufficient with no watering requirement, no care as such required, just within 3 years. And the best news is that they can thrive in any extreme desertified conditions, any extreme temperature conditions, bioclimatic conditions. So that's really the good news, that's really the best part of this Miyawaki method. So let's see how this is made possible, why this should be done, where this can be done, and so on and so forth. So this is all made possible, as I said, by this Miyawaki method of propagation, whereby you can quickly bring back native forest into the city's lives. This was invented by Dr. Akira Miyawaki, who is a Japanese botanist. And this method has been now proven as time-tested and guarantees growth. It is result-oriented because for a simple reason that it imitates natural composition of pioneer climax forest species of that particular place in which you are going to plant. Just like in any natural forest system, let me explain you. We create very dense layers of random of 4 layers of species, starting from shrubs to trees to canopy trees. So it is of all these trees, and it is also a mix of slow growing hardwood trees and also fast growing softwood trees. So it's a mix of all this, but arranged in as natural way as possible, which is complementary to each other. Having said that, let me bring back, your attention to something which, we were always, so this is not what Dr. Akira Miyawaki is telling us is new to us, we have been doing this, our forefathers have been doing this, we were very sensitive then. So our forefathers knew the importance of trees, and they invested selflessly in growing and nurturing sacred groves, something that we call today as sacred groves, as undisturbed patches of native potent vegetation on the outskirts of their villages and towns. We make sure that we look at these sacred groves, we go and explore them, and we expand know-how, of the local native species of that place. These sacred groves are still there if you look around, in every city, in every town. So these are rich, these are groves of a miniature ecosystem of biodiversity with knowledge base of its gene pool. They are a repository of trees with medicinal value, herbal value, ecological significance. And the best part is, why these trees and forests have thrived for years, because there is an associated sacredness, because of the religious beliefs, because of the temples and small shrines that have preserved them through generations to come. So as you can see, these sacred groves are everywhere, in hills, around the sea coast, coastal areas, Cochin, Meghalaya, Uttarakhand, wherever you look for them, even here in Gandhinagar. So again, coming back to this method. So this method is actually stressing to bring back these native trees, in the system, in urban lives. Let me now explain why, native trees are so important to the ecosystem. because they create a living landscape with deep-rooted connection to the natural heritage of the place. And that creates a strong sense of belonging. Over years, it all creates an interdependent symbiotic system, a symbiotic relationship of flora and fauna that thrives in it. And thereby sustainability just does not remain a concept in head, it becomes a ground reality. And we start using all our natural resources like air, water, land very optimally. And we can really live as lightly as possible in the land, our Mother Earth. So these were always the primary concerns in my mind. This primary concerns was born the idea of doing microforest in terms of productive and healthy environments that heal and harvest energy in the form of medicines, fragrance, and environment in general. So you can grow a dense native forest, around the corner of your plot, anywhere, absolutely anywhere, on any scale. On as far as railways is concerned, on its urban voids, on its vacant plots, on its residual pockets, along the railway corridors, wastelands, anywhere, pretty much anywhere, in any form and shape as well, so that's the best part. It can be done in as small as an area as 100 square meters, so that's the beauty of it. So as we all know, since land is a very pricey resource, this method seems to be very promising, especially for the urban areas. I stress here, especially for the urban areas, because we have lots of urban voids, we have lots of pockets of, negative spaces which are otherwise underutilized, and they become encroachments, they become polluted, and they really become not only an eyesore, but a big environmental problem for all of us. So these microforests, what are these Miyawaki forests? Let's understand. These are the benefits that are listed here. So these microforests grow 10 times faster. They are 100% organic. They are 100% native. And they are very dense, as compared to conventional plantation. And because they are dense, they grow very fast. They give all kinds of environmental goodness, in terms of, facilitating healthy soil regeneration, because it is 200% organic method. It harvests that much more water because it is 30 times denser. It provides that much more clean air for all of us to breathe in. And overall, it helps in transforming the physical and mental well-being of urban people who are otherwise living in very stressed conditions in very polluted urban environment. So that's the idea, so from that backdrop, I'm explaining all of this. You look at the, please bear with me, some part of this is not seen, but as you can see that, India is at the bottom of the pyramid. We just have, internationally, while global average is 422 trees per person, we just have 28 trees, per person, India. And therefore, massive tree plantation is required. The other day, yesterday, somebody just sent me, I think Frederick sir, you had sent me some video, or somebody else sent me some video on, how Singapore is planting trees every day. Common man created a complete, tree, a live tree forest nursery everywhere around the city, and they are madly planting in every nook and corner of the city, because they want to be greenest and they want to, really bring down all the environmental challenges. So why we do that? Most of this, but does not yield long enduring results on ground. And why is it so? Although such massive tree plantation drives are happening every monsoon, why don't we see it cover everywhere? So the reasons are many, but most importantly of all, the conventional method of tree plantation poses many challenges, as we all know. So we do these drives, but they are not maintained over a period of time. Instead, a tree in Miyawaki costs just the half, and it is a very effort on a very compact piece of land, and therefore, in our experience, not have more than 5% mortality. So these trees thrive, and they really are, and therefore I say that it is a very promising tree plantation method, and to create a very dense urban green cover forest in a very short time. So the result is pretty much guaranteed. So within almost 15 to 20 years, we can create a dense mature forest, almost 100 years old by this method. Also, when we look at conventional tree planting systems, you know, as you can see picture on the left side, it's monoculture in nature with a maximum 10 trees in 100 square meter area. While in Miyawaki forest, you know, we pack more trees. So it's about using a density of about 3 saplings per square meter, whereby we create a natural forest layering system with approximately 300 trees in 100 square meter area. Since these tree combinations are of different growth physiologies, as I had mentioned, there are, you know, shrub varieties, there are small trees, there are medium trees, there are large trees, there are canopy trees. So just like in a natural forest, you know, you see all these layers. It creates a very healthy companionship, and a competition of natural selection is set in place. And therefore, you know, these forests grow 10 times faster than the conventional trees. Also, the other reason why we should be doing this is that conventional landscapes are very, very resource consuming. You know, they require fancy irrigation systems, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, weedicides, maintenance, man, machinery, whatnot. While, you know, if you do these microforests, you know, they really, plus, you know, the exotic species that we use these days, you know, are disturbing, you know, they disturb the soil ecology. So they do really less good than more and more harm. You know, they are pretty looking, but then they really do less environmental good. So instead of this, you know, if we create these, you know, mini forests or micro forests, it reduces the energy loads. It indeed puts energy back into the soil, and really makes, you know, a lot of common sense to do so. Plus, it only requires one mali or one gardener with a hose pipe, you know, to water these forests for about 2 to 3 years, and to weed this forest for about 2 years till sunlight penetrates the forest floor. After that, after 3 years, these forests are going to thrive completely on their own, completely self-reliant. You don't require watering, you don't require weeding. So no maintenance is its best management, you know. So that's what I want to stress here. So it really, therefore, makes a lot of sense to do this, you know, in urban areas, and especially in urban voids. So now I'm coming back to, you know, very quickly running through this pilot initiative that we did with Frederick Sir and the DRM headquarters office on an 800 square meter plot here in Ahmedabad near Asarwa railway station. We planted about 2,400 native trees, about 35 varieties we had selected. And this was all about, this whole thing was all about selecting the right combinations of right native species, soil enhancement by desired organic matter, and soil preparation with, you know, random planting modules. So as you can see in these pictures, these are then and now pictures. The site condition in September 2020 was something like this. You know, the picture on the left, the picture on the right is, you know, somewhere, you know, when we just completed the plantation, or, you know, a little bit, you know, beyond that. And, you know, railway officials, government officials, DRM, from the DRM office, ADRM senior officials, all joined on 9th October in inaugurating this forest park. This is the picture of the site, which was before the commencement of the work. And this is the picture just after the plantation was completed, you know, so October 2020. And as you can see, just within 4 months, you know, pretty much 4 to 5 months of time span, you know, the trees are really looking healthy and happy. You know, they have grown in heights. You know, this small little lady is there, and, you know, it has exceeded her height, so almost 5 feet height. You know, some trees have also grown to, you know, 7 to 8 feet tall now. So just within a short span of 4 to 5 months, you know, this is the result. All actual pictures of the railway forest that we had done here in Ahmedabad. Now, so what exactly do we do? You know, so I want to little bit stress here on this particular slide. So urban lands mostly have degraded poor soil conditions. And we all know that life in the soil comes from its soil microbiology. So in this method, mostly no soil is borrowed from anywhere, you know, unlike the conventional landscapes, you know. So we work heavily on the existing soil conditions, and we add the desired, organic soil amenders and natural biomass after we have checked the chemical and the physical properties of the soil. And we work on the soil up to a depth of 1 meter. We turn it around, we churn it around, we make it porous, we make it healthy. And this in turn regenerates the soil ecology, creating a very healthy soil web in terms of microbiome, in terms of bacteria, fungi, etc. And this is what happens. It really, the whole soil gets rejuvenated from a very degraded soil that you see in the first picture. And then these, these are rich in biodiversity, so they attract birds, butterflies, insects, fungi. In a normal, typical forest module, we add about 35 to 45 varieties of species, and a very careful selection of native tree species is done based on value, medicinal properties, bioclimatic properties, the resource usage of that particular tree type, visual interest, textural qualities, seasonal variations, etc. Some of the trees that we have used in the forest land have been listed here. These are all 100% native. Some of them are even rare species, you don't get them. For example, Herde and Rohida, difficult to find them. Kher, Kirni, they're all getting, extinct now, from our nurseries. So these microforests can be planted on, various themes like fragrant flowering species, fruit and nut bearing, mix of evergreen and deciduous types. So a lot of these, as you can see, these are all actual photographs of different forests over a different, so this is like a 2-year-old forest, how it looks. They can also be, as I said, fruit and nut bearing. You can see flowers and you can see butterflies and you can see some fruits coming up. There are some fun facts mentioned here, how much noise level gets reduced and how much, ambient temperature gets reduced. So there are a lot of benefits, so to speak. So again, they regenerate the soil ecology. As I said, they act as windbreakers, they harvest water, they purify the air. So many benefits, let me not again repeat. This is something that is very interesting. I want to quickly show you around. This is something that we had done in 2016. As a pilot initiative, we learned the A-forest methodology. And as you can see, these are all progressive pictures, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20. So just in 4 years, the same, the same short angle pictures, and you can see the development of the forest. And just within 4 years, you can see almost forest growing to the height of 22 to 25 feet tall. See, these are all live pictures of the same forest type. So it's really promising. Whosoever is hearing this conversation, I really urge them that you should blindly go for this. If you find any urban void, any neglected piece of land, and especially on the railway lands, it is very much doable. This is another quick project that I wanted to run by you, which we had done with ODA, Ahmedabad Urban Development Authority, and we had converted a small, oxygen park for them. This was inaugurated by the then Municipal Commissioner Vijay Nehra sir, CA ODA, and the other senior government officials. So it became a community fun-filled project, so a lot of people from the surrounding neighboring societies, children, kids, everybody had joined. And as you can see, again, progressive pictures, 2019, April 2020, see the same forest, how it has grown. And this is a year-old forest, and this is how it looks like now. So basically, long and short of it, I think we may run out of time, but, really want to, place this thought in your heads. This is a beautiful picture. So imagine traveling in and out of our cities, through the railway corridors, and you have these beautiful forests, all along the railway corridor. I mean, won't it be beautiful? I mean, isn't it a sheer sense of beauty? I mean, I'm sure, everybody would agree to this, So a beautiful poem by Keats, he says, beauty is truth and truth is beauty. So as humans, if we only knew this, our earth would be a wonderful place to live in. So I hope this idea has inspired you enough, to bring back the native forest, as microforests, as mini forests, wherever possible, at least one each in your city, on the railway lands. And because this is, you know, what will strengthen our ties with nature, you know, it will replenish Mother Earth. This will be one small way in which we can give back to Mother Nature, because I strongly believe that, you know, nature builds culture and culture builds communities and communities build happy civilizations over time. So we really need to give back something for our future generations. Thank you for patient hearing. I would like to close here. I'm open to answering your queries. My contact details are here, mentioned here. We are there on Insta page, Facebook page, email ID, please note down, phone numbers, please note down. You know, maybe, you know, we might not get time to really answer your queries. How much time, sir, is left, Frederick, sir? Maybe some 5 minutes. So if there are any questions, I can take it up. And sorry if, you know, it remains unanswered, but do write us back. We will definitely get back to you. Thank you, sir. I'm done.
So I would like to, anybody has a question, they can interrupt me. Meanwhile, the takeaways, the key takeaways that we have is that Miyawaki forest helps soft encouragement of lands, reduces air pollution, helps noise pollution, promotes eco-diversity, and of course improves water table. So these are the key that, and then of course it makes a lung, an oxygen lung for the city, and it beautifies the city also. And we at Ahmedabad, we have an Ahmedabad division or railways all over India, pan India. We have a lot of places where the land is used, unused land. And there are lots of CSR who come and they say, we are interested. So I think we can take it forward from here and make the railways unused land into beautiful eco-diversity forest.
Great, sir. Yeah.
Yes, anybody has a question, please?
I think there are some questions in the chat box, but I'm just quickly trying to find questions, but
okay.
Can you hear Frederick?
Yes, sir.
Madam, Shivaji Kadam, Environmental Officer from Central Railway. मुझे ये पूछना था कि have you made any Miyawaki type forest in which we can make some kind of arrangements in between centrally located place of that patch? Like we have two Miyawaki plantation in Central Railway at Ravel and at Bhusawal. And what I saw that we could not enter into it. It is 2-3-year-old plantation. So if we would like to show this plantation effectively, so instead of walking around, we should be able to go into it and have some kind of sitting and may plan some kind of meeting over there.
Absolutely possible, sir. We can leave, you know, pathways. We can leave, you know, large gazebo kind of spaces within. You know, we can create groves and we can create sit-outs, sculptures. So it can become as interactive as possible. So it can, you know, it all depends on the shape and the profiling of the forest. So we can really create interactive by you know, leaving certain usable within the forest park. It's possible, very much possible.
Watering arrangements, how you have made in general, the patches, what you have done, watering, how you have done?
It's very simple, sir. मतलब normal वो hose pipe से, वो plastic pipe से माली पानी देता है, 30 meters पे hydrants होते हैं, regular बगीचे में जैसे पानी देते हैं वैसे ही पानी देते हैं. No fancy irrigation system required.
Okay, thank you. Very nice.
In fact, we are using recycled water.
Yes, we should use, in fact, wherever possible.
Okay, nice.
So happy water day to everybody because it's going to end. Sorry, but please write back to sir or, you know, Frederick sir or us, you know, and we will.
You can get back to me or madam for any queries. We'll definitely answer it through our emails. And thank you very much for all of you to join us and encourage us. And let's hope to make the world a greener place so that we leave something better for our future generation.